Good afternoon, all. వస్తుందా? Good afternoon. Uh, so after this Shehwag or Rohit Sharma innings, my innings will be like Thailander innings only. So I will try to complete maybe around 40 to 45 minutes I'll be taking. So I'll be just giving my insights with respect to GST. So what are the aspects you need to take in care while doing your tax audits? So I'm not an expert in income tax. But whatever GST exposure I have, because of lack of these aspects into mine, there are many notices being served. So if you observe around 2 to 3 years back, hundreds of show cause notices being given comparing the turnover of service tax and income tax. So in income tax you have shown this much income 25 lakhs. In service tax you didn't take registration. So there are many hospitals. For example, take a case of dental hospitals. Many people thought that okay, dental hospital anyhow healthcare services they have not taken registration in GST. Of course, there is something called cosmetic changes. If you want some golden teeth or you want to do lining. So all those things are not exempted under service tax. Service tax, whatever is exempted is healthcare services provided by clinical establishment. All cosmetic changes are these beauty treatment are not exempted from GST. Because of lack of this knowledge, many people put 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs in their income tax returns for getting loans. Many people, recently I got one show cause notice from service tax. What he is doing, sir, my income is only 4 lakhs, sir. Then your income tax return shows that it is 15 lakhs. Sir, I have given to someone, sir. He has, for the purpose of loan, he has put that much amount, sir. Earlier, now it got reduced a little bit. Earlier, we have something called for bank will give one statement, for income tax department will give one statement, for GST department will actual stock will be one more. So we have been maintaining multiple accounts and multiple places that got reduced this recent trends because of these many notices are getting from the departments because of there is an MOU between the income tax department and indirect tax department. The information of income tax department would be shared with the indirect tax department, so and vice versa. So because of this reason, presently, if you see our Form 26 years shows the whatever you have given a turnover in your GST or 3B and whatever the even one whatever you have shown it in one. So that comparison and all happening. And also one more thing, if you are doing services to government, the TDS deduction details you are getting in both the income tax and GST are 7 TDS deduction details. Now this between the because of interaction between the government became more, so that the differences between these figures getting less. But there are still few aspects which you need to consider while filing your income tax returns. So that we are going to discuss for the next maybe 40 to 45 minutes. So the basic things, these and all, I'll skip it because not like you would be knowing these basics of when we should file Form 3CA, Form 3CB. So 3CA, 3CB, 3CD. So this is what this Form 3CD has 44 points, so which various aspects of your books of accounts will be discussed in the this 44 points. So in this 44 points, I have taken only few points where GST implications are there. So based on that one, we can discuss how it would be implemented. So there is one clause which says that the GST number of SSC should be reported in clause 4 of tax audit report. If multiple registrations are there, all the registration number should be mentioned. So this is where this There are many people still, even though they have fixed establishment, they are not taking registration. Even there are many additional places. They are not taking adding in the place of business. So what is the problem of not adding additional place of business in the registration certificate? So if you don't add a additional place of business in your business certificate, the problem will be the inputs which you receive in that additional place of business will be disputed. So it is straight. You see, first of all, what are the fixed establishments? Where and all you are storing the goods? What and all warehouses are there? All those places you need to add it in your additional place of business. So till now, I have not added any penalty. So without they themselves identifying, you yourself identified and giving means there won't be any penalty. So in law, always don't forget the basic provision that mens rea should be there for levying any penalty. You yourself approached and you yourself giving, so sir, this is the additional premises, I need to add it. So this is one important aspect you need to consider for the purpose of GST registration. And one more thing, last week they have started one more fake registrations identification. So this would be there up to October. So first fake registrations last year they have started and they have done it for two or 2.5 months, and they have identified many lakhs of fake GST registrations. So ensure that inform all your clients to ensure that we have a board, that name board plus GST registration number, and also display your GST registration certificate. Displaying GST registration certificate or name board with GST number is must and should. This you need to keep it in mind. Inform all your clients. So what is the, sir, if you don't have anything, so straight away they are putting 25,000 penalty, 25 plus 25, 50,000 penalty under section 125. So they have one section called 125, that is a mini omnibus. So what and all not covered there, it can cover it in 125. So they are told up to 25,000. Every time they are putting only 25,000 only. 25 plus 25, 50,000. For that 50,000, it is very difficult to go to a chartered accountant, fight for that amount. So ensure this second, whatever this fake registration drive is there, ensure that before the officer comes to your premises, ensure all your name board and GST number, and also display your registration certificate at your principal place of business and also additional place of business. And also any state wherever you have fixed establishment and has not taken GST registration, ensure that to take a GST registration. And there is recently few clients, they are doing works contract services here. So that means they are laying rails for the Ministry of Railways and all. So I asked, do you have GST registration number? They told, Andhra, I don't have registration. Then how can you doing work means? Sir, I'm getting bill from Andhra fellow to IGST Jharkhand something. So he is there in Jharkhand. He is billing this service provider here billing IGST bill to Jharkhand registration. Jharkhand registration is billing to Ministry of Railways. Sir, how can you do works contract service by not taking registration here? So once you have place of business, you should take registration. There is no question of not taking registration in Andhra Pradesh. If you are chartered accountant going for an audit for 1 week or 4 days, then there is no problem. There you don't have any fixed place of business in some Goa, for example, you have gone to audit. So there is no question of taking registration in Goa because we have this concept of IGST, then it will get over. But if you have fixed place of business, it is mandatory to take registration for the fixed place of business. Then the class B, taxpayers should keep in mind that the nature of business are reported in this class and shown at the time of GST registration are in the same line. So this is where many problems also happening. So I got recently one notice wherein the service tax is exempted because he is providing service to this Polavaram. Polavaram project is there. There he is doing earth work. earthwork is doing. Earthwork for Polavaram project is exempted actually. So, but in this GST tax audit report, he has mentioned that other works contract services and other businesses, something like that, he has mentioned. So now the department officer is saying, you are saying earthwork, but the income tax return is saying not earthwork. And all. You have separate heading for earthworks. Why you have not selected this and all? We have given a work order, we have given invoices, we have given everything we have given, but still that officer is resistant to listen to us because the only reason that in income tax return he has mentioned any other business something and all. So this is the kind of that is unwanted litigation. Anyhow, client will win at the sestat level or next high court level. But until then, simply by putting this amount in the by selecting the nature, because the officers they don't want to take any risk. Okay, they'll tell okay, you fight it, sir. Anyhow, you will win it at the appellate stage, sir. You pay the pre-deposit and go. You will win it at the appellate stage. Why you are bothered at that? So this is what that much importance for nature of business. Whatever business you are doing, ensure the proper business name you mention in the income tax report. So mentioning the other names or mentioning the vague names, any other income, all those things may create a problem in future for you. And also there is a change in the business. You need to add it in your GST registration amendment. So earlier in VAT, we have something called registration certificate. In the registration certificate, what and all goods you are dealing, you need to add it in registration certificate. I think you will be remembering. So in registration certificate, if you have some five goods, mobile phone, water bottle, mic, means you should only deal only mobile phone, water bottle, mic. You should not deal any other goods. If you want to deal laptop, you need to ask your registration authority to add this laptop to your registration certificate. In GST, you don't have that concept and all. You have major five goods. Whatever major five goods you are dealing, major services and major goods, whatever is there, you need to add it. That's all. Sir, our officer is saying that if you are not having this good in your list, you can't do that business and all. You ask the officer where to add only five goods. For example, take a case of D-Mart. How many goods he is dealing? He is doing some 2 lakh goods he will be dealing. Where he will add 2 lakh goods in that registration certificate. So whatever like plastic items or those major goods only he will be adding. Only five goods you can able to add it. So if your major good, if you are dealing the major good is there, that good you can add it in your registration certificate. Otherwise, there is no need to amend your registration certificate.
That suddenly they have changed the attitude and changed externally different way of business. Then he has taken the grader as a registration.
Correct, sir.
He still want to continue that business, but immediately he has converted into a contract, real estate contract.
Add that service into this your non-core amendment is there, sir. There you can add this services, sir.
We don't know whether he is purchasing bricks and all, whatever he is purchasing, whether he is purchasing for himself, he is purchasing really entered into the contract or not, we don't know. That's why immediately we can't change we can't amendment into the.
No, so when you don't know that it is for personal purpose or business purpose, then you can't able to take credit also, no, sir. So first you need to decide whether it is for business purpose or personal purpose. It is purpose for personal purpose, fine, no, not an issue. It is for business purpose, you need to give your GST number to him so that you can able to take into
we have to regularly in touch with him and we have to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then with respect to next class, class 11B. So 11B talks about list of books of accounts to be maintained and where you have maintained this address of where you have maintained these books of accounts. With respect to this class, so there is a rule 36 under a CGST rule. So if you read that rule, you will understand whether I need to maintain these many books of accounts in as per GST and all. So that is the So you need to maintain all your purchase, sales, inward movement, outward movement. So whatever the stock lost in while doing physical verification, all these things you need to maintain. So once you see this number of books maintained. Now in income tax you have this policy like deemed taxation, some presumptive taxation. So sir, we are in presumptive taxation, sir. We are not maintaining anything, sir. So on the turnover itself, directly straight away, we'll keep this percentage and we'll pay the tax, sir. There is no stock maintenance, sir. So that is becoming very big problem when we any dealing with litigation. So recently, when we are dealing on appeal, so they told that actually the client is selling off his business. So like he is stopping his business. So whatever purchases he has made, he sold it at loss. So 100 rupees he bought it, the items, he sold it at 80 because he is closing the business. Now the issue is, now the departmental officer is asking you send me the stock statement or how much you purchased or what rate you sold it and all. But this client is saying that, sir, our auditor and all, he has only given this income tax return by saying that percentage and he paid the income tax return. So we are not maintaining any stock and all. Then we asked that accountant, then seeing the purchases, getting the statement, get the stock statement prepared for that client for getting the benefit from the appeal office. So, irrespective whether you are in deemed taxation or presumptive taxation or normal tax audit case under, it is mandatory for the client to maintain these books of accounts as per GST. GST law doesn't have any exception for small service providers. Only exception is there for composition dealers. Composition dealers, they can pay that specified percentage of tax amount and keep quiet. So for every quarter they need to pay that 1% tax and yearly one return GSTR 4 they can file it and keep quiet. But stock maintaining, that is also completely required for stock, even for composition dealers. So ensure that you need to maintain all these things. This and all we need to educate to the client so that in future if any issue comes, this will help us to solve those issues. With respect to this ICDS too, so we need to give whatever valuation of sales, purchases, stocks, any change in the method of valuation and all. So when you see this 9C, GSTR 9C, so you have this something called in ICDS, those who are following ICDS, for example, if a ship is going from, if you are selling from India to somewhere in Japan, so the ship will reach, you are raising invoice on March 15th. The ship will raise the Japan on 21st April. So where you need to report that sales in GST. GST, you are raising invoice on 20th of March, so you need to report in this year. So I understand that as per ICDS, you need to report that sales once it is reached the customer's premises in April. So that amount will go to that financial year. So when there is a change in methodology of recognizing the revenue between your books of accounts and also your GST returns, that reconciliation you need to keep it in mind so that it could be used for GST or 9C filing also. So many people are asking, sir, whether we need to file your like prepare books of accounts for tax audit first or GST or 9C first. So what we should do it and all. So there are 9 we need to file it first or 9C we need to file it first, prepare it first and all. So it is all, it is not whichever is first and all. It is all simultaneous things. So many chartered accountants now they are doing GST related, finalizing GST related, anyhow, sales you can't do anything. You can't do anything, everything you have reported. If you have missed out one or two sales, you can add it in this year financial statements. So with respect to expenses, you need to, you may be doing some changes with respect to your expenses. But that whatever changes you're doing, you do it at the simultaneously. Income tax, tax audit report preparation and also normal 9C, everything you prepare it simultaneously. So don't keep postpone that 9C to the later period because the due date is December. The next clause with respect to income which are not reported in the profit and loss account. So This is many in case of partnership firms. This many cases this partnership firms, sorry, proprietorship firms, wherein the income received by the proprietor will be credited to your capital account. So that is where the difference between your P&L account and also your income tax returns difference will come. So income tax returns total income will be different from your GST returns. So this is where you need to maintain reconciliation of how much amount. So since it is going to capital, sir, should I need to pay GST? So if it is a commercial property, there is no doubt you need to pay GST on that commercial rent, which are it is irrespective whether you are putting that income in house property income or business income, wherever you are putting. So GST is on supply of services. Once you are doing that rental services, irrespective whether you put it for P&L account or capital account, you need to pay GST on those services. So recently there is one change with respect to residential income. Residential income, if you give it to a business person, so it is liable to RCM. So if any of our clients who are registered under GST taken some residential premises, so that reverse charge compliance also we need to keep it in mind. So that came last year. So many people are not following that. So any residential income taken for business by a registered person, RCM needs to be paid at 18%. And you can take input tax credit, not an issue. This clause 18, this clause requires the reporting of depreciation charge and fixed asset. Still, many officers in GST department, still now after 7 years of GST implementation, they are saying that, sir, if you claim depreciation, you won't get GST credit, sir. I saw many places, sir, if you claim depreciation, you won't get income GST credit, or if you take GST credit, you won't get depreciation. Sir, you are right, sir. But what is the issue is the tax portion, sir, not the total portion. If it is 1 lakh rupees fixed asset plus 18,000 GST means the act is talking about that 18,000, not on that 1 lakh. So if I'm claiming depreciation for 1 lakh 18,000, I can't take credit of 18,000. If I'm claiming for depreciation 1 lakh, what is the problem? So this somehow we have tried to now little awareness came, but still many officers are there, especially state officers. So this issue is there. This you need to be able to explain with a very much examples, so that are one or two cases where we got favorable orders. Those things, if you can able to get this depreciation, that is one important aspect we need to keep it. Next one, class 21A. So this clause requires reporting of expenditure of personal nature debited to profit and loss account. So what is this? There is one clause under section 17, subsection 5. So any goods or services used for personal consumption, you should not be taking input tax credit. So what is this personal consumption, sir? So personal consumption, for example, our office employees are now gone for some restaurant for having this team lunch. So now so whether it is a personal expenditure or office expenditure, huh? Why, sir? So, there is a company like they have laid a one signal near to the company, so that their employees reach on time. This traffic signal they sponsored, so that the traffic stagnant won't be there. People will reach, employees will reach on time, whether it is a business expenditure or not. So that is, there is something, some section called section 37. So section 37 talks about so any expenditure which are incurred in relation to business, you can able to take input tax credit. So we have many shrimp companies here who are exporting. So they are having guest houses for the people who comes from Orissa, Bihar, and all. So for that guest houses, they are buying furnitures, beds, or whatever furnitures and all. Are we claiming expenditure on those things?
Yes.
So what about input? So is it a personal consumption?
Yes.
So what about uniforms you give it to office staff? Safety shoes. No, no, there is no mandatory for uniform. So our office, we kept that you need to have this uniform concept under. So this concept of personal consumption, generally they give, mostly it is not applicable for this corporates and all, or that means organized business and all. So once you, it is not a business expenditure, you want it in P&L account at all. Once it is not a business expenditure, you won't account it in P&L account. A capital account, you will put it as a drawings or whatever it is. So this from the copy pasted from the excise regime or service tax regime, the same thing to GST. So this is where, for example, if I have some stock in my shop, if I'm using the some of the stock for my home, so I'm taking some, for example, if I'm dealing laptops, one or two laptops I need it for my children, I have taken these laptops to there. So this is what saying that if you are using that laptops to your home, so it is nowhere used in the business. So that kind of personal consumption, it is not allowable for input tax credit under GST. So this is where, like for example, if you're is a grocery shop you're running, you took some two or three edible oil packets to your home. So that is what they are talking about. So they are talking all about other expenditure which are eligible under 37 of Income Tax Act. You are straight away eligible under GST also. Input tax credit is eligible, subject to that any specific 75 if it is hitting there you should not avail input tax credit. The next class with respect to import of services, you need to give the details of TDS deducted on foreign payments. So this is very one important. Many people are not paying on the subscriptions for journals. So this is where few import of services because now department people started reading our tax audit reports also. So they were mentioning specifically what is the foreign exchange remittance you have made it to outside India. So once you are telling that it is foreign exchange remittance made out of India, why you are not paying IGST and IGST by treating it as import? So this is one condition of this foreign exchange remittance you have made it outside India. Ensure that whether if it is the place of supply is outside India, fine, well and good. If, for example, you are paying a commission to a foreign agent. So commission, it comes under intermediary. Place of supply will be outside India, no problem. So place of supply in India means, for example, if people coming for some testing or any repair services of our plant and machinery, you are paying amount in foreign currency. So it is considered as import of service. Now you pay under RCM and take credit. So now one more important clarification which got it recently. So for all earlier years RCM also you can pay it now. All earlier years RCM also you can pay it now. They have clarified it. Along with interest you pay it and take credit. Self invoice you raise it now. Recently, this budget and 53rd council meeting, they have clarified that all earlier year RCM, if you find out anything, you pay it now along with interest and take credit. So they them just clarified that self invoice is the date for availing input tax credit. Self invoice you can raise. Of course, there would be some penalty under section 122 for delay in raising the self invoice. So the 1819 related self invoice, if you are raising no, so that delay, so there would be some penalty for the delay in raising the self invoice. That is 20,000, sir.
Per transaction or per month?
Per so that it depends on that how he talks with the officer, sir. Next thing, with respect to class 23, sorry, class 22, with respect to interest inadmissible for section 23 of MSME Act. Now we all know that this MSME, we need to make payment within due time, whatever it is, or 45 days. So I think people represented much and nothing happened on that. So they promised that they would be removing that thing, but it badly affected MSME sector. Many people stopped paying, purchasing from MSME before that February 15th due time bundle. So, but as far as GST is concerned, there is a rule called Rule 37. In Rule 37, from the invoice date, you need to make payment within 180 days. So within 180 days, if you don't make the payment, you need to pay along with whatever input you have availed, you need to reverse it along with interest. So first few years, government not bothered about this thing. Now, when they don't find any major issues in your books of accounts, they are themselves asking what are the details of closing creditors. So they are asking the transaction wise closing creditors. So from when it is due. So they are asking us only to calculate the interest straight away they are giving. So ensure this 180 days condition. So if there is any mutual transactions are there, that is also considered as payment. For example, I need to make the payment of 1 lakh to the vendor, and he needs to make a payment of 50,000 to me. So we adjusted that 50,000 won't be considered for non-compliance. That adjustment entry is also fine. So this is one important provision. These days, last maybe 1 or 2 years, the government started, like departmental officers started emphasizing on this Rule 37, non-payment to the vendor within 180 days. Sir, how to avoid that? So there is one interpretation is as far as few people are doing that. There is a provision in that Rule 37 says that fails to make payment, fails to make. So fails to make means whenever there is an obligation to make payment, due is there. So with my vendor itself, I agreed for you pay after 1 year. When my vendor is silent, why the government is asking you need to pay within 180 days from the invoice and all? So that is where few litigations are happening. Even this provision is there in provision is there in service tax regime also. That is many litigation is going with respect to that. Whether it is comes under fails to pay. So when my vendor and myself we agreed that we won't be making payment for 1.5 year, 2 years. A few places they have this time of 1.5 year, 2 years. So those cases, this provision won't be applicable. That is what we are fighting as far as Rule 37 is concerned. We'll wait.
Very clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
The bill per se states that the payment is to be made within 6 months from the date of the invoice, but it never said about the due date of payment.
Correct, sir.
How this due date is taken into consideration or brought into the litigation?
That's sir. Here 37 talks about fails to make payment within 30 days of within 180 days of invoice. So we are saying fails to pay only. We are focusing, emphasizing on fails to pay. When this fails to pay will come?
Near 180 days.
That is what our interpretation. So fails to pay will come when there is an obligation to pay only. It is says, sir. I am talking on. I am emphasizing on that rule itself wrong. That's what we are saying. The next clause with respect to related party transactions. So we have got many circulars in the last 1.5 months or 2 months with respect to corporate guarantee, import of services, valuation when you import from outside India. So there is only one clear rule as far as related party transactions are concerned. Rule 28 says that if a buyer is able to take full credit, the government is not going to question your valuation. If the buyer is able to take full credit, we are not going to question the valuation. Whatever price you want to put, you put it. So if the buyer is unable to take full credit, then only we have that market value, then cost plus 10%, all these rules and comes into place. So with respect to this related party transactions, we are disclosing in our tax audit report, ensure that this valuation provisions which are prescribed in our GST have been complied. So if it is full credit, no problem. Full, if it is not full credit, then you need to see whether that rule 28 market value or cost plus 10% or any other proper valuation method, whether it is followed or not.
So in the related party, if we take any services from the related party, and he is not registered with the GST, from and filing the income tax as per 44 ADA, etc. If income tax department MOU, whether they will check the 44 ADAs and they will send the notices for the GST.
No, sir, that is not the thing. For example, you have received from unregistered person. So the amount of service value you have received is less than 20 lakhs. He has the facility of non-registering for GST. So there won't be any issue with respect to these things.
Composite services, if it crosses service he has provided me, only he has provided 17,50,000. And he has other business also, he has shown both the businesses in his income tax return.
Correct.
With that, it crosses the 40 lakhs or 60 lakhs, etc. Then you have not registered for the GST and it impacts us also.
No, it won't impact us. So generally it impacts him only. So the problem is, if you see some companies, take a case of canteen run by the company only, but generally for the purpose of, they'll keep one fellow to run that canteen. Or take a case of manpower supply also our fellow only. So he doesn't know anything. He don't know how to file returns, everything. So the company's consultant only will file his income tax return. The company's consultant only GST returns. So those cases and all, this company should be careful, because if that fellow gets notice and all, straight away he'll come and sir something came and all, he will come and show us. So those cases we have a problem, because he is the guy who is appointed by us. But all other cases, we are not bothered about his turnover is 40 lakhs or 60 lakhs. So we'll see whether if it is if whatever turnover he made it to us is more than 20 lakhs, we'll tell boss, you have crossed 20 lakhs as per GST, you need to take GST registration. Anyhow, I'll get input. Not a problem for me. You register and pay. And you inform that in future, if any department comes and finds and all, I am not bothered about your interest, penalty, tax and all. At that time, you don't come and ask me. That thing you need to check with your vendor. This class 26B, this class required reporting of taxes and government dues not paid within the due date if such taxes are passed through P&L account. So this and all, whatever pending taxes. Now GST, CGST department gave an instruction that whatever demands you are raising, you need to upload it in portal. But still, a few officers are not doing. But ensure that whatever dues are there as far as GST is concerned, you can get it in GST portal straight away. From there, you can report in this column. And also ensure that get a declaration from the client that any manual orders being passed against us. So those details also we need to give it in this class. 27A talks about the details of SENVAT opening, closing to be given. So this is many people are, I understand many GST credits being mentioned in this entry. So this is for people who are dealing in petroleum, tobacco products. So for them only. So for them still central excise is applicable. So they need to pay register under central excise and need to discharge central excise taxes. This is only for them. For GST credit, class 44 only. There is only one class, class 44 for GST purpose.
You only SENVAT.
Yes, sir, SENVAT. There is one clause with respect to shortage of stock. So with respect to physical shortage, so physical shortage, that means there is no stock itself not exist. In those cases, so there is a 17.5H is there, wherein any inputs lost, destroyed, or disposed of, you need to reverse the input tax credit. Sir, if my stock value, what I bought it is as per inventory valuation, I need to cost or realizable value, whichever is less. That is the costing stock value valuation, inventory valuation. We have this stock purchase value or net realizable value, whichever is less only we need to account it. So the balance portion I have written down. Should I need to reverse the input tax credit? So for written down, there is no need to reverse the input tax credit. But if you dispose it off, so these goods I am now nowhere I'm going to use it. In those cases, I need to reverse the ITC. So, for example, recently this floods and all happened few places, Kerala, all those places. So there, whatever any stock is there, if you dispose that, like because of this flood, if the stock got destroyed, all those cases, fire accident, all those cases, you need to reverse the input tax credit to that extent of loss you have made it.
Sir, is it applicable to manufacturing concerns?
Yes, sir.
There will be shortage of material.
Yes, sir, applicable.
Oxidation loss.
No, sir, there is something called two loss, sir. Normal loss, abnormal loss. Normal loss, no problem, sir. Abnormal loss, you need to reverse input tax credit. So this petroleum mandal, if you send some, there will be little shortage or little less you will be receiving, that need not be received. There are many case laws on that.
There you report it in the stock and quantitative. Manufacturing. Yes, తీసుకుంటే రేపు పొద్దున్న GST కూడా తీసుకోవచ్చు.
Once you issue it, best way is you issue it. If you are a manufacturer, all these stocks, you issue it to production. That's all over.
No, sir.
Credit is
The PCT report, one class, you will report it. Is the opening stock used in the manufacturing, what is the product, and what is the shortage?
scrap.
No, sorry.
Instead of saying shortage, I am saying
Used.
you issue the whole thing to production. Then from production report, you will get good quantity, you will get scrap. Scrap will be sold at scrap rate.
And sometimes we sell the scraps.
No, I am saying you get the scrap and sell it as scrap. This input credit you don't have to reverse. If you want to know, this planning you have been doing for last 30 years. Straight away you issue the stock to production. Production will give back scrap in good quantity in its report. Then you scrap will go to scrap yard. Whenever it is sold, it is sold. If it is not sold, it will not sold. Are you getting what I am telling? So your input tax credit is same.
No shortage to production.
And shortage కూడా file
Shortage చూపిస్తాం.
So no reversal, nothing. For every reversal, there is a, like he said, there is some planning we can do.
So the next class with respect to details of taxes demanded and refunded. So whatever demands as of now, which you are fighting in the appellate stage, all those details you need to give, and also whatever refunds you got it from the GST departments. If you are doing in export or IDS, inverted duty structure, so any refunds you got it, that details you need to report in this class 41. The very important class, class 44, still many people are not giving these details. But this class being added in the last 2 years back with respect to this expenditure you would be doing in GST, those expenditure related details in income tax. So those who are using Tally, generally the process of, I think, extra explain, sir, this way.
Yesterday,
So this was with respect to, I'll just summarize it. So you keep with respect to, this is the table which is referring in table class 44. So with respect to exempted portion, you can in Tally itself vouchers, if you see without Tally, you can keep that configuration. If you change it, those entries without GST, it will pop up. So by seeing that ledger wise, you can get that which are exempted. And the composition scheme, you need to give it at the time of registration of the vendor itself by giving the GST number. Tally is recognizing whether he is a composition dealer or regular dealer. And with respect to all other expenditure like depreciation, employee salaries, wages, all those things are not covered under GST. So provisions, all those things are not covered under GST. That could be mentioned in other others. No, no, others. So here this class not required, sir. That is this class not required. Yes, ma'am. So this is with respect to class 44 only. Like I have given few suggestions to maintain how we should maintain the books of accounts while taking the GST registration itself. You can keep whether he is a regular taxpayer or composite taxpayer, and many of us not mentioning inward supplies from exempted or composition in GSTR 3B. How many of you are reporting in GSTR 3B? Exempted supplies received from composition dealers or exempt supplies received or composition dealers received. Those details under we are not giving. Presently 9C, the table 14,
Yes.
wherein the expenditure wise taxes are there, that is not mandatory, that is optional. So, but by maintaining this will also help that table 14 if it is being implemented in the next year. Present for this year 23-24, there is no mandatory for table 14 of GSTR 9C. So whether GST shall be included while calculating the gross turnover or receipt. So this is many whether this becomes whether you are following that inclusive method or exclusive method. Presently, most of us are following the exclusive method. So the taxes, whatever is there, it should not be included in the portion of turnover. So even the GST turnover now it is matching. It is being matched with the income tax returns. So it is better you follow for exclusive basis only instead of inclusive basis. So with this, I complete my presentation. So any queries? 16.4. 16.4 settled na sir. So 16.4 there are two issue notifications sir, but they have added one more section 16.5 and 16.6. So that is anyhow retrospectively implemented. So for the first 3 years. So whenever notification comes also no problem because it is giving retrospective. Na. So you need not to bother about the date of notification. It is anyhow retrospective. There won't be any problem. But wherever order is issued, we are suggesting better to file an appeal so that there won't be any issue in future. Because the few officers are there, they will tell that that notification yet to come. Why you? So this order already 3 months passed. I'll start recovery. So for safeguarding people, we are suggesting wherever order is issued, better to file appeal by paying the 10%. So once that being notified, you can claim the refund of whatever pre-deposit you have made it.
Maintaining the stock record tally purposes.
Yes, sir.
And what's the validity of the maintenance of stock record in tally? Tally is an electronic record.
You can maintain, sir. Electronic record is as good as a manual record, sir. There is no problem at all. Even the Information Technology Act 2006 specifies that anything you maintain electronically, it is as deemed as maintained physically also. Even GST law also recognized electronic maintenance. So as good as if you are maintaining that like inventory module in your GST tally, it's fine, sir. There is no problem at all. Now we got that audit log for this thing, na, sir. No, you let them prove, na. If they are doing some allegation, they should be able to prove it, na.
You can tell him, no, I heard you murdered 10 people and came to office. No, tell the officer, you murdered 10 people and came, I think. Tell him, no. How it is different from what you are telling us. Some of them require little one dose, then they will know. Of course, he can get very angry with you and he will say, I will do this, I will do that. If he says that, write a letter to him. You told me this and I told you this and you said you will harm all my clients. Send him a registered letter or on the portal you send a letter with copy to DC. Let's see what he does to your clients. See, one chartered accountant is there, Guru Murthy. You heard of him? Chennai. What he says, no, we chartered accountants, we are actually tigers and tigresses. Actually, we are, but we behave like cat without teeth. What can anybody do if I become a cat when I am a really a tiger? You be a tiger, no? Tell me. Be very confident. I am not saying insulting. I insult them also, but I teach them also. I tell them, you don't know us. You read the book. I have written so many books. Many times the top fellows also, they won't read. No, nobody reads GST. They have not been trained in GST also, all these officers. So once I went to the commissioner, she was a chairperson, CBIC, top of GST. That time GST was not there. So I went and met her because I was chairman of the indirect tax committee. But she is used to beggars before me who will come and ask extension, this, that, please give me, please give me. I went, she didn't even look up. Chairman, indirect tax committee. She made me wait for some time, which was not acceptable to me. Then I went inside, she didn't even look up. I also kept quiet. Let's see how long she'll keep quiet. After that, she said, no, what do you want? I said, I don't want anything. I want to give you something. Then she looked up. Then she looked, who are you? Madhukar and 11. Some council, something that you. I said, madam, that's my official card. I cannot give you a council card. But I am chairman of the indirect tax committee, which you appointment was fixed after you said okay. Then she said, no, what is this? You give me some, we don't want anything from you. I said, you need something. I didn't say you want. I can give you that. What is that? I can teach you how to do audit. You have been doing audit for 10 years. It's only harassment and extraction. I will teach you how to do audit so you can recover more money from the SSCs by lawful means, not by unlawful means. She said, this is not acceptable to me. You come to my office and you are telling this. I said, call your audit officers, no? Directorate. So they are here only, North Block. Give a tinkle, they'll all come. So that audit team came. All the deputy director, audit, and everybody came. When they came in, they said, hello sir, how are you? Hope everything is all right. That itself put her down. Because her officers are telling me like this, like a guru they're teaching. Then she told them, you know, this gentleman is saying you don't know how to do audit. Is it true? They said, yes. We are not chartered accountants, we don't know how to do audit. I told her, madam, there's a book in your table also there, that book. It's a book on how to do audit for your people, but you are not right, your people have got that book with you. Then she said, what can we do? What can you do for us? I said, I can teach them how to do it. But they should be willing to learn. If they come, when you come and inaugurate, they'll all be there, 200 officers. By the time tea break comes, only 20 officers are there. Lunch break, only I am there. So if that is there, then they cannot do it. No, I will ensure they are all there. We will do this. So they did. As usual, some fellows disappeared and all that, but 150 were there in the end. So I did all that, and then I had also told her, we'll do an exam for all these people who attended. So we did one exam. Out of 200, only 170 or something took exam. Out of that, only 2 passed. It was not even CPT level. I told her that this is not even inter level for us. Your officers know nothing, madam. I told her at the end of it. Then she said, no, we will continue this. We have to do this. No other session was finished close. They don't want to be educated. The less educated they are, the more they can extract it. If I don't know that there is anything right or wrong, I'll say whatever I want. But our job is to teach them. Go 3 times, tell him, okay, input tax credit you didn't understand. I will explain. This was what was there in VAT. VAT, you remember? Ah, I know VAT credits. VAT was this. This is what is GST. The difference between this and this is this. No, I don't know VAT. Okay, then we'll start with the principle. I purchase A, sell it to B, B will sell it to C, C will sell it to D, D will consume. This is what is happening. And how it works here. This is all based around that. Some rules are there to see that income doesn't die. ITC is not taken irregular. Once you explain to them, they are amenable. Don't try to explain what is not there in the law. You should be also credible. Remember, credibility plays a huge difference. For example, when our people go to court, we are also in practice, we have found another firm called H&A Legal Practice, because our institute is having all sorts of restrictions on everything. So we have found another one, where some of our people have given up COP, they have taken bar, not the other bar. That bar and this bar, I don't know which is better. Anyway, it enables us to go to the court. 2 years, 3 years time, all the people from HNA go get recognized. So if they say something, if they tell the judge something, the judge doesn't ask, show me where you have put it, because it will be there in our pleading. It will be there. They know that we will not lie. They know that they can depend on us. Because what is the job of a chartered accountant or a lawyer who goes to the court? He's a servant of the court. He's supposed to support the court. So you do it. In case there is a very weak case, your client has done all sorts of cheating. You tell them, I have no case on merit, sir. I put a lot of things in the material on merit, but I have no case on merit. I'm looking for your indulgence on penalty. Just be fair with him. He's very happy you're not wasting his time. He may look at it, feel, may. 90% they are fair. People are all human beings. You should understand whether judge or otherwise. We should never look at anybody like he's a bad person. Even if he's bad. Are you getting what I'm saying? You don't decide that he's bad. Why? Who are you to decide? Are you God? You are also bad in many ways. So give him the benefit. When you go before an officer, keep an open mind. Try to help him. If he doesn't understand, explain. Tell him, I don't mind spending 2 hours. Where can I go? Can you imagine what impact it has on that officer? He'll become your friend for life. He may cheat, he may squeeze the other 100 fellows who come to him, but he'll never squeeze you. Even though he never asked you to come and teach you also. But you offered. No? Go with a smile, talk to them. Many people were asking me, sir, you were blasting those fellows, all bandicoots, corrupt people, and on the stage you are saying all that. Now, before the officer, you are not doing anything. I said, before the officer, I am representing my client. I have to get relief. On the stage, I am telling them what type of bandicoots they are there to need to change. So there are two different caps. When I'm going as a person who is a representative of the client, it's no longer Madhukar and his ego. I have to get relief for the client, correct? But don't cheat him. Don't give him wrong information. So there is a view in which you should look. I have not been successful, okay, in litigation. 1991, I appeared before one officer in the tribunal in Chennai. He was a clean officer, no bribe, nothing. But he had tremendous ego. I told you, what was my age in 1991? 31. And I became a decent fellow only at 40. So he told something. He said, at the end of this, I have seen you coming quite a number of times. Young member, I said, yes, sir, I just started. At 89, I started central excise studying, and now I'm coming before you in 91. He said, that's good. But why are you not dressed in black? I told, I am governed by the Chartered Accountant Act, and I have come in coat with tie. That's what my act says. He said, no, tribunal rules require that you come in black. Next time I want to see you in black and bow tie. I said, why next time, sir? You give me layover now. Anyway, I come from Bangalore, so I can't, I'll go buy a black coat and I said, I can continue. I don't want my client impacted. He said, no, continue now. Next time you can wear black and come. Till there it was all okay. Then I continued and he gave whatever order he gave. Normally he used to give good orders. When I'm going out, he made a point. Hey, Mr. Chartered Accountant. I didn't like the tone at all. Who are you to say, hey, Mr. Chartered Accountant, as if I'm some cockroach? So I said, yes, Your Honor. Next time, I want to see you in coat and tie, bow tie. I had already told him I'm coming now. Why is making it? I said, I won't appear in front of you, Your Honor. Never in my life. Don't want to appear before you. I said, and went out. My Chennai practice, tribunal practice closed that time. I was a proprietor. I told you, ego, all these things were playing in my. Then Bangalore I went, another Kalyan Sundaram or something. That fellow was very good till his wife got cancer. Then he became meter. You know meter, no? Every order you have to give money. Otherwise you won't pass order in your favor. One case I was arguing for some small fellow. 3 lakhs was the demand. Transformer, there's a coil. Transformer part it is. It is not a bobbin or something. In those days, bobbin was 25% and 15% was plastic, these parts of transformer. 5% was parts of transformer. So my client got a notice for 3 lakhs and I showed him the transformer, this, that, everything. I don't know what happened. He knows I won't try. Because not only that, earlier also I have appeared before him many times. So he simply said one day, he told, you're misleading me, Mr. Chartered Accountant. I told him, sorry, Your Honor, I don't mislead anybody. Neither the adjudicating officer, nor the appellate officer, nor you. I don't mislead anybody. He said, you're misleading me. And I said, sorry, I'm not misleading you. Please ask. So many counsels and the senior lawyers are there. Please ask them whether I'm misleading. Why I should ask? Now you have made me angry. I'm passing an order. You go to Supreme Court. Classification matter, you have to go to Supreme Court. It's a 3 lakhs matter. You think my small client will go to Supreme Court, spend 10 lakhs? I don't care. I'm passing the order. Then I wrote a letter, 20-page about the letter I wrote to him, alluding to all the changes which came in his life. I didn't mention bribe and everything else I mentioned. I told him I want to meet you. He never met me. Then I sent another letter. I refused to appear before you again. So I gave up tribunal practice totally. Till 2002, when I got Gyan, then other people came. They started going. I'm just giving you how much difference it makes. But I was willing to lose that income. I didn't want to lose the credibility.
Sir, but in tribunal suit can be used. Charter evidence.
Sir, I know, sir, but why I want to argue with that idiot?
Because I does suit.
Sir, I knew, but I'm not going to fight with him and get a negative order, no? What is there? Go wear a black coat, throw it aside, only wear it in front of this idiot. Every time I come, I can make a show also. Remove the old suit, wear this suit, in front of him only I'll do all this. But I didn't do. I didn't have chance because I fought with him. I should have fought with him. That's the wrong thing I did. But sometimes it all pays. In 2000, service tax had come. By the time service tax had come. When service tax came, they said voluntary, this, that, and all. We used to get registration easily. Then again, this thing started. Registration 10,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees. Bangalore, I'm telling you. 2000, Govindan Thampi came. Govindan Thampi was Director General Service Tax. Then, like here also, there must be FKCCI was there. They called. Before calling, they told Commissioner has requested that you don't be very harsh. I said, don't call me. Don't call me, nah, that's all. I won't come. Unless you invite me, I will not come. I have no interest in fighting with anybody. No, our directors, old directors and all, they will tell you, if you don't come means there's nobody who has backbone here to talk to. I said, then it depends on you. Don't call me, I will not come. If I come, I will tell what I have to say. So Govindam Thampi came. That time the chairman of the committee, tax committee was there. He took a lot of time and last, when 3 minutes was left, he said, our member, chartered accountant Madhukar Hiregange would like to say something. I said, I don't think I have any time to say anything. You already are telling Govindam Thampi sir has to go back to Bombay. He's already tired. You have told everything why I should say anything. Why should I say anything? I asked. Govindam Thampi till then was twiddling something. Yeah, you are doing this. You are not interested. You knew what is going on. Then he looked up and said, no. Oh, what's your name again? I have time. I have come here to find out good feedback. I told him, I'll give you good feedback. But are you able to listen? Sir, I have come to listen only. That's the objective of my visit. I told whatever you have heard, 1 hour 15 minutes is only artificial. These people have given you Alice in Wonderland story. The reality, if you want to know, I will start and I will not complete till you say stop. Otherwise, of course, 15 minutes time you are giving, I will stop in 15 minutes. I said, first thing, registration. This fellow in the corner, not Ravi, obviously. Some fellow is there, Mishra or something. This Mishra, he will not give you registration, sir, if you apply for service tax registration. 10,000 rupees you have to buy with. Shankar Math he has not given, sir. He is being Hindu. Hindu fellow, Shankar Math he wants 10,000 rupees. Now you can imagine what type of people you have in your office. And we are in 2000. 1994 it came, till now he doesn't know that he should invite people, get them to register. There was there were 40 people, all coat, brown shirt and all the prices, like as if they want to war. Now all the bribes they have taken, 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore, all that on their chest. Anyway, they all became quiet. Nobody is looking at Govindan Thampi. Everybody looking down. Nobody is looking up. Only I am looking up. Then he said, you should have escalated. Sir, I am a chartered accountant. And I am in this industry. You think I don't know? Deputy Commissioner, second row. You want me to name him also? I name him. He's sitting there. 3 reminders I have given him on this Mishra, doing all this nonsense things. They have not issued, even now, sir. I am allotting service tax number to my clients. I apply and I give the number. Tell them print invoice, do your business. We'll file return also. Whether he gives registration or not, why should I bother? I have the number, I paid them taxes. Mishra will give or not, why I should bother, sir? I am the issuing authority now, unofficial. Whoever comes to me, I issue the number. And before you ask, unfortunately, I have also escalated to Commissioner, who is in the first. Even Commissioner has done nothing. Tell me, sir. Next, I can escalate to you if you want. I'll send you one registered post with copies to all these people, including our great man Mishra. Then I told you, you can go tomorrow. Why tomorrow? Today only you go. There are at least 6 files with Mishra. All the people who have refused to pay bribe to Mishra, he has kept that registration pending. Go and check those 6 files. How many years old they are? Many of those people wanted to get into service tax. You did not allow them to come in without paying bribe. They have stopped. They are doing cash business. This is the great man who is sitting here and serving everybody. Then he asked, what should I do? Give me one advice. I said, simple advice. Give me a box in the application saying you will send the registration certificate by RTA, preferably with a garland and a sweet box. Of course, sweet box and garland didn't come, check box came. After that, for about 2 years in Bangalore, no bribe. Because I never paid it before, after it. After that, Govindan Thampi retired. After 3 months, box disappeared. Again, I wrote 100 mails. I mailed to all the fellows I know. What type of skullduggery is this? That was the question in the subject. After 1 month, again it came back. I'm telling you, if you have guts, I'm not very strong. If you give me one shot, tabak. Okay, whatever you want, I will say. But if you want to mentally fight with me, I can fight with Modi. Are you getting? Why not we have that guts? Don't think that the department is strong. They are weak fellows. The moment you face them, they are weakest. They will simply crumble. There was one fellow who got gold medal. RAC meetings are there. So you must have attended. RAC meeting means the industry goes and meets the department once in a way. They want to say that we are taking a feedback from everybody. So in Bangalore, there was an RAC meeting where I was requested. One client called and said, sir, please, sir, it's becoming too much. RAC meeting is becoming a farce. Please come. So on behalf of that client, I went. When I went there, one poor small scale unit fellow, he doesn't understand MSME, what he will know about central excess. I myself don't know fully. Even though I wrote books, I didn't know everything in Central Excel. That poor MSME, that fellow is showing the book and telling, blasting him in the RSC meeting. I got angry. I told my chief commissioner knew, oh, this bugger now is going to do something. No, Mr. Madhukar, we can discuss it later. I said, I am sorry, I want to speak. Is this the way you department fellows treat small SSCs? It's a shame because that officer who's waving the book doesn't know anything about the book itself. Shall I ask 3 questions? I'll prove to you that this fellow doesn't know anything. It's like this only I told, with all full vigor. No, Mr. Madhukar, please calm down, calm down, calm down. Where all of these fellows, half of these people sitting here are taking bribes. They act as if they are big fellows. Then one fellow got up, tall fellow, 6'5". He was from North India, fair, handsome. Said, I am gold medalist, presidential gold medalist. He said, I know how you got your gold medal. You collected from people who were not liable. Poor SSCs like this fellow. You make them tremble and make them pay taxes and then you get a medal. I don't know about you personally, but I'm telling you that's how you people get presidential gold medal. Then he said, you can't speak like this. You come to a meeting and you have called me to the meeting. I didn't come here voluntarily. Who comes to you voluntarily? Nobody. Then he said, how can you accuse our officers of doing this? I said, you want me to name? Start naming. I'll name. I'll tell from whom they took, how much money they took. You want that? I don't pay a single rupee bribe, but I know what the bribes paid. Because the client will call and say, what to do, sir? I have to buy this. I gave him 2 lakhs. I gave him 50,000. They tell me. I can give the names. Then Commissioner Madhukar, sir, please calm down. We fix up a meeting with Singh, whatever that Singh was, that fair fellow, tall fellow. He was deputy commissioner. Then I said, I can go for the meeting, but will he be there? Will he be there in his office at the appointed time? I know that these people have so many other businesses other than their office work. No, no, no. That fellow said, Tuesday you can come anytime, next Tuesday. I said, no, not anytime. You tell me what time. Then he said 12. I said, okay, I'll be there 5 to 12. And 5 to 12 I went. And I was waiting. Then I told that lady, this man gave all this speech the other day. You may not be aware. This gentleman inside, he gave all this speech. Please tell him I have come. Then he came out, Mr. Madhukar, commissioner is called. I said, who's the commissioner? Your salary is paid by my clients. And you committed that you will meet me at 12. Why are you going to commissioner? Please call him up. I'll talk to him. How can you go to meet the commissioner? No, sir, little urgent. I'll just come. 2 minutes, sir. I said, 2 minutes, nothing. By the time you reach next floor, it will be 2 minutes. Okay, I'll give you 15 minutes. Luckily, he came back in 15 minutes. Otherwise, I had already started drafting a letter to everybody concerned with copies, with carbon copy taken. Then he came. And I told him, see, I have come because you challenged me that you have no corrupt officers. I don't know about you. You have just come. So I don't have any history about you. But I'll tell you now. These are the 3 people who are working in your office. Shall I tell you how much they took from which client? And he said, sir, you know the system. I said, thank you very much. I'm leaving. I don't want to waste my time. Please don't interrupt me next time. Never interrupt me. Otherwise, by the time I'll have your name also with the client's name. Be careful. And I went. Then what he did, next was our office litigation person who was going. He called him and told me, I'm going to cut your tails, you Irregular solicitors, cut your tails. So nothing. That fellow was whose chamcha? Mine. He wrote one letter. This is what you have told. Mark to commissioner also. Commissioner called me, sir, what is this, sir? Please tell me what I should do. I said, how can you say cut your tail? Okay, sir, we'll re-allot. You please tell me which officer. I will re-allot all his 23 cases. We'll re-allot to others. The deputy commissioner's case, 23 were there. I re-allot to other officers. I said, I'm not going to tell you which officer. I have no favor in your department. Allot to anybody you want except that idiot. It was done. What happened to his image after that? Gold medal fellow. When all his cases were taken and divided without paying money. Then what happens is our fellows, when they wear this, why do you think we wear this? We wear this and go to, even our office boy wears this because they think he's chartered accountant, partner of H&M. They'll give him registration fast. How do they know they're partner or not? This blue card, yeah, those fellows, headache fellows, give them fast and send. Are you getting? Make them fear you. You're a lion or a lioness. Make them fear you. All you have to do is a couple of times. You do not every time, you don't have to do. Once you do, whole of department will come to. Are you getting? Whole of Vijayawada will come to. Nothing will happen. And we are strong enough. If there something happens, we'll work something else out. We are chartered accountant. We are versatile, like he said, adaptable. We can start so many other business consultancies. Anyway, I think I've gone on, rambled too much. Ravi must be thinking when this will end.
Now we listen words of wisdom. Lots of words of wisdom we have listened to you. All of us got benefited as to your journey in the profession, what you have told right from the beginning until this date. Definitely we have learned. Also, I should thank Rajesh also. Rajesh, when I was allotting this topic to you, I had something other in my mind. But what you have done is more than what I have thought you have to deliver. In fact, I should say that if I switch, if I make the switch on a switch here, the light in my balcony will glow. Like that, in Telugu, what we say, ikkada switch cheste light elugutundi. So if you give a tax audit report, you may also expect an unexpected GST notice. That's what Rajesh has delivered. What are all the places wherein you have to not only keep in mind about the income tax, but also keep in mind the implication of a GST, what it may trigger on another day. So thank you, both of you, for coming here and spending your valuable time for the benefit of our members. Thank you, and please accept a memento from us as a token of love and affection. Please join some of you. Please come and join. Narayan, please come. We will come here.
Come. Thank you.
Yeah, please stay on. Please stay on.
Get from this side.
Yes. Lunch partner, reassemble after. PPT, yes, definitely.
Both PPTs will be shared.
Yes, sharing the groups.